What's up, my comic comrades? I think a lot of us, if not most of us Star Wars fans, would agree that The Mandalorian is the best thing Disney has done with the Star Wars franchise since they took over the brand. I know it's definitely our favorite thing Star Wars within recent years, and Season 2 is currently hitting Disney Plus with brand new episodes every week, as if almost to try to save this year from complete and utter failure. In any case, with The Mandalorian being such an amazing show, there was no way we couldn't do at least one Mandalorian and or Star Wars themed episode during its triumphant return. And what better thing to do an episode on than the beloved and mysterious Darksaber, which made its live action debut in the season 1 finale of The Mandalorian. And if you're like, hold up, I can't believe you just spoiled that for me. You are a piece of crap, Arris, and everyone at Variant, you suck. To you I say, it's been out for a year. I don't know what to tell you. That's what we do here on the channel. We talk about nerdy things, and a year is way more than enough time for that to no longer be considered a spoiler. A few weeks after, a few months after, fine, I'll give that to you. But a year, come on. Catch up on your nerdy stuff. Anyway, let's finally break down the origin of one of the coolest weapons in all of Star Wars continuity, the Darksaber. And so everyone is on the same page, we're going to be sticking to Star Wars canon continuity and not Legends. All right, the Darksaber first appeared in Star Wars canon in Star Wars The Clone Wars, the animated series, in the episode The Mandalore Plot, which premiered on Cartoon Network back in January 29th in 2010. In the real world, the Darksaber was created by Dave Filoni and his creative team on the Clone Wars series, but Filoni has said himself that George Lucas, creator of Star Wars, for the two people watching who didn't know, gave Filoni guidance with its creation. Seems like Lucas was the Yoda during the whole process of the Darksaber's creation. Yes, see, in its conceptual stage, Filoni just knew that he wanted to create a weapon that would be able to combat and be effective against the lightsaber. So it seems that Lucas helped Filoni and his whole creative team flush out this idea. Filoni even said, quote, George wrote that little speech about the Darksaber for Pre Vizsla. Filoni went on to add, what I added was the idea that the Darksaber was Mandalorian made, that it was something that the Mandalorian felt was part of their heritage, and it would make it way more valuable, end quote. All of which was said in the Star Wars Rebels behind the scenes featurette. But now, let's get into its fictional origin. The Darksaber's origin goes all the way back to the time of Tar Vizsla. Tar Vizsla was the first Mandalorian to become a Jedi. He's also the one who created the Darksaber. I'll tell you how we know that in a little bit here, but first I do want to say that the Darksaber is a one-of-a-kind flat blade of swirling energy. The saber also looks more like a traditional sword from hilt to blade, except in this case the blade is not steel because it's a saber. It emits a black core which draws in all surrounding light, much like a black hole. Now, besides who created it and who wielded it, not much is known about its origins, but several characters throughout the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels series have given us hints and tidbits of the weapon's past. For instance, in the Star Wars Rebels episode Trials of the Darksaber, Fen Rao, a Mandalorian warrior and protector of the Concord Dawn, said, legend tells that it was created over 1,000 years ago by Tar Vizsla, the first Mandalorian ever inducted into the Jedi Order. After his passing, the Jedi kept the saber in their temple, that was until members of House Vizsla snuck in and liberated it. So that right there, out of a character's mouth from the Star Wars Rebels series, confirms what I said a bit ago, that Tar Vizsla created the Darksaber. Now, with saying that, not much is known about Tar Vizsla, but what we do know is he is a highly revered figure on Mandalore. He is a legend to the Mandalorians, becoming one of their rulers. And because the Mandalorians hold him in such high regard, the Darksaber became a symbol of power to Mandalore. And the Mandalorians essentially rally behind whatever Mandalorian was powerful enough to wield it. Now, being that House Vizsla, who was one of the political factions that made up the Mandalorian society, held the Darksaber, they used it for political gain, striking down anyone who would oppose them. But they also used the saber to unify the people. Essentially, at one point in time, House Vizsla ruled all of Mandalore by wielding the Darksaber. Now, we also know the Darksaber would stay with House Vizsla until the Clone Wars came along. And it's in the Clone Wars series, Pre Vizsla rebelled against Satine Kryze, a female Mandalorian duchess who was the pacifist leader of the new Mandalorians and the planet Mandalore during this era, which of course would be the Clone Wars. Pre Vizsla would use the blade against many people throughout the Clone Wars, but most notably against Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Maul. He used it against Obi-Wan Kenobi, who was defending the Duchess, while saying to Obi-Wan, for generations my ancestors have fought proudly as warriors against the Jedi. Now that woman tarnishes the very name Mandalorian. And he says this while pulling out his Darksaber, continuing to say, this lightsaber was stolen from your Jedi temple by my ancestors during the fall of the Old Republic. Since then, many Jedi have died upon its blade. He then pointed it at Obi-Wan, saying, prepare yourself to join them. Obi-Wan and Pre Vizsla then started to fight, but it ultimately ended with Pre Vizsla getting away. But even more notable, Pre Vizsla used it against Darth Maul, who was trying to take the Darksaber from him to rule Mandalore and the Mandalorians. Something Maul would succeed in, defeating Vizsla in a duel, then taking the Darksaber to cut off Pre Vizsla's head. Maul would wield the Darksaber for some time, but eventually Ezra Bridger discovered the Darksaber among Maul's possessions and took the blade, ultimately giving it to Kanan for safekeeping. Kanan would show the blade to Fen Rao in the Star Wars Rebels episode Trials of the Darksaber, which I mentioned earlier. Fen told Kanan something to the effect of, this saber is an important important symbol to House Vizsla, and respected by all the other clans. If Sabine can wield this saber, she can reunite some of the most powerful houses in Mandalore. Quick version of who Sabine Wren is: she's a Mandalorian who left the Imperial Academy to join the Rebel Alliance. She was also a member of Clan Wren, which was part of House Vizsla, meaning she has claim to the Darksaber. Long story short, towards the close of the Civil War on Mandalore, Sabine took the Darksaber and offered it to Bo Kryze, who was a very important figurehead in the liberation of Mandalore. She is also the sister to the Duchess, aka Satine Kryze, and the person that led the rebellion against Darth Maul once he took claim to the Darksaber after killing Pre Vizsla. In any case, Bo accepted the Darksaber and became the next leader of Mandalore. But come on, this is Star Wars, people. There's never truly peace in the galaxy, at least not for long. Enter the fall of the Empire and the Galactic Civil War, where the Empire betrayed the Mandalorians and eradicated almost all of them. And sometime after or during that, the Darksaber was stolen. And we see during the last few seconds of the season 1 finale for The Mandalorian, former officer of the Empire, Moff Gideon, emerge from his wrecked TIE fighter holding the Darksaber. And that, my friends, is the origin and or a brief history of the Darksaber from its introduction all the way to its latest appearance in The Mandalorian Season 1 finale. We hope this gives you guys a better understanding of how cool this weapon is and how important it is to the Star Wars mythos, especially the Mandalorian mythos. And one of the coolest things about it, that unlike the lightsaber where every Sith and Jedi have one, there's only one Darksaber. Like, this is one of a kind, which makes it all the more sought after. But there you have it, my comic comrades, the origin of the Darksaber. But what do you guys think? Do you like the Darksaber? Do you think it's cooler than the lightsaber? Let us know all your thoughts down in the comments. And just like that, that's gonna bring another episode of Variant to a close. But if you enjoyed today's Star Wars themed episode, be sure to check out this one right here. And if you like our channel, subscribe, like, and comment. It always helps us out. But I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.